Yeah, this what T-Dance, and I got another video for y'all, man. You don't get my ID for that. By Lackluster. Should be a very entertaining video. Normally, Lackluster has very entertaining videos. Without further ado, man, make sure you like and subscribe, leave some comments. Let's go and get to this reaction.
Okay, do you have your driver's license on you?
For what crime?
There's no crime. Is your registration?
How much is the distance from the center of the road to the right of way?
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
Who pays the taxes?
The county.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. In August of 2024, Lance was driving down US 421 in North Carolina. He was unfamiliar with the area as he resides in Florida and needed to make a phone call and check a few messages on his cell phone. As he approached the Penderlea Fire Department Station 31, he figured it would be a good spot to pull over to use the device, as the road he traveled upon offered few conveniences. As he pulled into Firehouse 31's, he notices two yellow no trespassing signs staked in the grass and immediately turns around. This is important later. After pulling his vehicle forward onto the public easement, he put it in park and began his business, and about 3 minutes later, a Pender County Sheriff's deputy pulled into the driveway and parked behind him, and as she approached the truck, Lance began recording.
Okay, do you have your driver's license on you?
For what crime?
There's no crime. I just have to identify you for
No, you don't.
Can you dispatch fire department to 2011?
Is your registration?
It sure isn't. What's the reason you're running my tag?
I'm not gonna
What's
lie.
the reason?
Not gonna lie, like me personally, I don't just without the headache or just give my ID, bro. Give my ID and explain what happened. I know lawfully they can't hold you for stuff like that, right? Because you didn't really break a law, you didn't trespass, you just sitting there, right? I get it. Like I get it. Well, just to cut down the hassle, bro, speed things up a bit. I would just get my ID. Simple as that. Lawfully, you don't have to, but just out of like my time and like the headache, I would just do it. Me personally.
Reason you gonna run my tag?
It ain't that serious to me, bro.
For what crime?
Not that serious. Not that serious to me.
For what crime? Am I being detained?
I don't do nothing wrong. So I just.
Am I being detained?
I just get mine. I don't got no warrants or nothing. So
Am I being detained?
Simple as that.
For what crime? What crime are you detaining me for? No. What crime are you detaining me for?
Deputy Morgan has now detained Lance immediately after her admission that there is no crime.
There's no crime. I just have to identify you for
No, you don't.
As they wait for backup to arrive, Lance pauses the recording to save space on his phone, and a few minutes later, Deputy Harnish arrives, and after speaking briefly with Deputy Morgan, he approaches the driver's side window at Lance's vehicle.
What's going on?
I don't know. I came up here using my iPad, and apparently they called the sheriff's department on me.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out why I'm being detained.
Because it's trespassing.
No, it's not trespassing. I'm on public property.
But it's not public anymore because they just got taken.
This is a easement, correct? This is a right of way.
An easement is completely different, right? An easement.
Where am I sitting at? Where am I sitting at right now?
You're sitting in the parking lot.
No. This is a easement. This is a easement.
Sir, applies to utilities.
Okay.
Underground easement, right? If you want.
What's here? Underground utilities. Underground utilities.
Does not apply to this.
That runs all the way across.
No, it doesn't actually.
It's how much is the distance from the center of the road to the right of way?
It actually depends on where you are.
Okay, so what's the distance right here?
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
Okay, what crime am I being detained for?
I just told you trespassing, sir.
I was never told to leave.
Okay, well that's why we're here, right? The fire department is here asking for us, okay?
Okay,
so
again, I pulled up here to use my iPad.
Okay,
I said, are you gonna let me talk?
No, I'm not. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me explain
No.
why.
You don't need to explain it.
This place has been broken into repeatedly.
That has nothing to do with me.
Okay, if they don't know you and they've been constantly broken into, does that not seem suspicious?
When was it broken into?
When?
Yes.
It's been constantly broken into because this isn't a used facility.
Okay.
Right? It was a volunteer department. It just got transferred over. There's a lot going on.
So how am I supposed to know that?
I'm telling you that, right? So that's why it got called in the way it did.
So again, if I'm sitting here Using my iPad on an easement on public
An easement
property.
does not apply to
On
this. It
public
doesn't matter how many
property.
times. This is public property.
How was it not?
Is this public property?
Who
What does
pays
that
the
say?
taxes? Who pays the taxes?
The county. So do you mean you can tell me you can come up to the county? You can sit at the,
Absolutely.
so you can sit at the jail?
Yes.
No, you cannot.
You don't think so?
Not.
Get your sergeant out here.
The sergeant's already on the way.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it is good. We'll be right back.
Now, what am I being detained for, ma'am?
I already told you for the third time, trespassing.
I was never told to leave.
Do you see the yellow signs that say no trespassing?
I didn't go past the signs.
It's still here, and you did. There's camera footage of it, so please continue.
The interesting thing about public easements is that they're easily accessible to anyone with an internet connection for almost every county in the United States. Not to mention, most law enforcement cruisers utilize a computer-aided dispatch system, and most of those have their local GIS, or Geographical Information System, loaded directly onto the device, allowing the officer to identify who owns a specific property, what land might be private, and yes, even where the public easements are located. Combined with GPS, visual landmark recognition, and common sense, most people with half an IQ point can identify where property begins and ends with an accuracy of about 1 meter.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about moving. What would life be in North Carolina? Dog? I hear great things about North Carolina, like beautiful scenery, beautiful people. Da 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 da. But like videos like this make me like, damn, I don't even want to go to North Carolina. I don't even want to step foot in North Carolina. When this dude is literally didn't trespass, he's seen the yellow markers. He's like literally in an easement. You know what I'm saying? Public, clearly, and he's still getting harassed. And he's white. Just imagine if my black ass would have did all that. Where I'd be right now. I'd be in handcuffs right now if I talked the way he talked to them dudes.
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
When we look at a map, Lance is parked here, and based on the GIS survey, he is clearly on the public easement.
How much is the distance from the center road to the right of way?
It actually depends on where you are.
Okay, so what's the distance right here?
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
In fact, the land is not even owned by the fire department. I was even able to do that for this very encounter from more than 1,000 miles away, because the GIS survey even has a measuring feature. Using it shows that Lance could have been parked up to 55 feet away from the center line of the road.
Does it look like I have a tape measure?
But concerning those two no trespassing signs that Deputy Harnish pointed out earlier, as you recall, they are clearly never passed by Lance. And despite Deputy Harnish lying about having video footage of Lance, the signs also happen to be placed on the property line in accordance with the public easement.
An easement is completely different, right?
And of course, to top it all off, no one, not even the deputies, have asked him to vacate the area. But even if you were to throw all of that out the window, the property belongs to a volunteer fire department, which is run by a non-profit organization and works with the county to provide their service. That being said, many firehouses have community rooms available for citizens to conduct meetings. And though at the time, 31's was still under a remodel, it opened its doors to the public just 2 months later and held an open house in January of 2025. Now, because it is a volunteer department, the land is private property, but there'd be no way for Lance to know that, as number 1, he lives out of state, and 2, they've covered up the volunteer fire department sign with a sign that omits the word volunteer. To the general public, this looks like public property, and that's still beside the point that Lance never entered the property. But what makes this matter most unforgivable is the fact that 2 untrained officers failed to use the many resources available to them.
No, what crime are you detaining me for?
lied about having footage of Lance trespassing.
You see the yellow signs that say no trespassing?
I didn't go past the signs.
It's still here, and you did. There's camera footage of it, so please continue.
And couldn't drop their ego long enough to allow Lance to be free from their unlawful detention, and instead, he was falsely arrested for pulling off the road to use his cell phone in consideration for his own well-being, the safety of others, and the law. He was falsely charged with failure to ID and criminal trespassing, but the failure to ID charge was dismissed by the judge at his arraignment.
Do you have your driver's license on you?
For what crime?
There's no crime. I just have to identify you for
No,
the
you
call.
don't.
In my experience,
North Carolina
She-
sucks.
she
It is
like
one of the
Brown
few
Town.
states that requires a court order to obtain body cam footage, and the sheriff's department and county attorney is refusing to provide Lance with police reports, footage, or other discovery. The state is also one of the few that doesn't have a time limit for a speedy trial.
Bro, like, what annoys me the most about like videos like this, like certain cops should know. Like, I watch enough YouTube videos on this type of stuff to know a lot about what you can and cannot do when it comes to people. Like this dude right here, this black gentleman walking down the road in a white neighborhood can look suspicious all day. But just because he's out of place doesn't mean he's either committing a crime. He might just be passing through or whatever. You never know. He might know somebody in the neighborhood. You never know. Doesn't give you grounds to detain somebody, bro. It's just not how the law works, bro. And I appreciate Lackluster for these type of videos so because they're so educational, bro. It's certain stuff like a lot of people who don't know the crime, like don't know the law, that can like literally go to jail and don't fight it or don't get the right representation to fight stuff like this or sue law enforcement for this recklessness, bro. They have to, cops have to know the law. They can't, we can't be the ones that know the law better than them. Just because we fight it, they can just arrest us just because, oh, he didn't give me my ID. Like, because I don't have to. He has to give me a reason to. I'm not hoping this dude right here sues the fuck out of him and gets plenty of money for it. Because they got to learn at a certain point. Now I get, like, having, like, somebody suspicious in the neighborhood, like, his intent is probably trying to break into somebody's house. I get that, right? They're trying to prevent something bad from happening. And there's a lot of bad shit that happened, like, not far from me, some ex-military dude went in somebody's house, not even from my city, killed kids and all. You know what I'm saying? And I get like if the police was there, they pressed them, whatnot, they could have probably prevented the crime. But at the end of the day, bro, the law is the law. It's you know what I'm saying? I get like why they do it. You know what I'm saying? I really do get why they do it, but there's laws in place for that reason. Now, if they want to change a lot of that shit, they have to just change the laws. Simple as that.
And Lance's next
Other
hearing
than that,
is in 7
you can't
months,
press a
in
motherfucker who didn't commit a
October.
crime.
Until then,
Simple as that.
there's not much more to do,
Unless
so
they
I'll provide an update when
change
that
the
time
rules and
comes,
laws when it-
or if anything happens in the meantime.
You know what I'm saying?
Until then, I'd like to know what you think of this encounter, so let me know in the comments down below.
They have to like literally change the law to like, hey, if an officer asks you your ID, you have to give it to him. Simple as that. Simple as that. That'll stop all this bullshit right here. Like, oh, you need my ID? Here you go. Simple as that. Not saying like the person who attempt to commit the crime might commit the motherfucker anyways. Who knows? People are weird these days, bro. This generation with social media and all this other shit is different now than what it used to be. We know a lot of shit that happens because of social media now. Social media is the new news because the news back then they report a lot of this shit, bro. But you see a lot of it because these cameras are everywhere and all that now. So we see a lot of shit. But at the end of the day, you have to abide by the law if you are a law enforcement officer. You just can't pull up to a motherfucker without no just cause, detain them, ask for their ID, and then because they don't get their ID, arrest them. You can't. So hopefully this dude get this bag. Y'all want me to keep reacting to these type of videos? Let your boy know in the comment section. Also, I know like my current audience, my former audience probably still fuck with me because of the Call of Duty shit. My new audience know me for my reactions. But if you want me to stream or upload videos for Verdansk, Call of Duty, it's coming back in like the next 2 days, I think. Let your boy know in the comment section, and I will. But it's your boy T-Ness, man. Holla at your boy. And I'm out. I'm out. I'm